we are very much, and this will come as a shock to a lot of Americans, we very much are a product of a Judeo-Christian Islamic heritage, as well as Greek influences and various other things. Western civilization is deeply intertwined with Islam. Now, this whole idea of a clash of civilizations seems to ignore the fact that, that our civilization is very much indebted to Islam in all sorts of ways. Mathematics is one. Algebra is an Arabic term. The number system we use, for heaven's sakes, Arabic numerals. Where do you suppose we got our numbers from? Philosophy, medicine, chemistry, alchemy is an Arabic term. Horticulture, navigation, there are all sorts of ways. When the European doctors were putting leeches on people to heal them, physicians in Baghdad had already figured out the circulatory system and the nervous system and were performing delicate operations. Islam was an advanced civilization that led the world for centuries. And that very much influenced Europe and Western civilization as we know it. And so there are all kinds of interconnections that most people just do not understand or appreciate. But occasionally now we're getting more and more people who are aware of how enmeshed we are culturally and just civilizationally. And we're seeing, I think, more and more with the developments that are going on in the Middle East especially, and where people are speaking out and rising up and talking about many of the very values that most Americans cherish, such as participatory government and better human rights and economic opportunity, lack of oppression from governmental autocrats and so forth. The very things that we tend to celebrate on the 4th of July. We're seeing people in very different cultural contexts resonating with those same kind of human values. We have a lot more in common when we really begin to study and learn about this religious tradition than most of us imagine.
Oh, that's very true. Would you add anything to that?
Well, the idea that Dr. Kimball have said is the concept of worship in Islam. Worship in Islam is very comprehensive, not only just to fast and pray and so on and so forth, but also to find medicine to a problem or heal a person or find science advances. That is a form of worship from the Muslim perspective. That's why you see even in Oklahoma, many of the famous names. Dr. Zuri is a very famous name in Oklahoma, who is instrumental in heart transplant. His name is all over the buildings, and his course is being taught all over the world. You see Dr. Noor, who is also instrumental in bringing liver transplant to Oklahoma. That is perceived and looked at in Islam as a worship, as an independent worship by itself. Actually, we call it an everlasting charity. If you develop a medicine, for instance, if you pray for yourself. But if you develop a medicine for a cure, that's an everlasting charity that will reap its reward even when somebody passes away. That's why you see a lot of Muslims trying to advance all of these sciences in order for them to please the Lord God Almighty in the concept of worship.